back up with 24 and 25. We will go ahead and the question here is find the probability that a randomly chosen point in the figure lies in the shaded region. All right, so we have what appears to be a trapezoid, and you can trust that it's a trapezoid. On your test, these will all be labeled as 90s. So it is a trapezoid, okay? So first thing we need to do, right? So it's going to be area of the shaded over area of the trapezoid, or total area in this case. Okay, so first thing I am going to do is I'm going to find area of the trapezoid, because that's pretty simple. It's just a formula. 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. So this would be 1/2 of 30 plus 12 times the height, which is 8. So this is 1/2 of 42 times 8. Okay, do that in your calculator. 42 times 8 divided by 2, or times 0.5, your choice, is 168. Okay, so now I'm just going to start writing my fractions. So I got something to go with. So 168, that's my total area, or in this case, area of the trapezoid. Okay, now, because these are all 90s, and I know that these are equal, then the opposite, both pairs of opposite sides have to be equal. So this would be 12. And because these are the same, and these are the same, right? I know that those two triangles are also the same. So since those triangles are the same, I can take 30 minus 12 to get 18, right? You'd have to borrow. And then divide that by 2 to figure out that these bottom lengths here are 9. They're both 9. Okay, so then I need to figure out area of the shaded. Well, it's going to be 2 times whatever the area of the triangles are, right? That's going to be equal to area of the shaded. So, area of a triangle formula is 1/2 base times height. So that's going to be 1/2 of 9 times 8, which would be 4 times 9, which is 36. Right, and then I take that times 2. So I would get 72. So my area of the shaded is 72. Then you always need to reduce. So I'm going to reduce this. So if I reduce this, I would get, I know I can reduce by 2. That'd be 36 over 84. I know I can reduce by 2 again, so that'd be 18 over 42. Okay, 2 again, that'd be 9 over 21. And then I know I can reduce by 3, so that'd be 3 and 7. And you can absolutely please leave your answer as a fraction on the test tomorrow or on Wednesday. Okay. Again, if you have any questions on that, make sure you're either asking Mrs. Schmidt today or tomorrow, today or Monday. And if that doesn't work for you, you can definitely ask me on Tuesday. But again, reminder, your test is on Wednesday. All right, let's go ahead and look at question 26. So 26 is a word problem. Okay, and it doesn't actually give you this diagram, but I drew this diagram because I couldn't remember the numbers I came up with one year that actually work out kind of nice. So it says a bike tire has a diameter of about 14 inches. You ride a straight distance of about 70 feet. About how many revolutions, so how many revolutions does the tire make along this distance? So you have to really think about it. If I'm talking about revolutions and I'm talking about a distance, then what I'm really talking about is how many circumferences, right? Because every time the tire goes around, if it starts here, right, every time the tire goes around, it covers that much distance, right? If I could take this and stretch it out, it would cover that much distance to like there. I don't know. I can't really picture that, right? But you stretch it out, it goes so far. And so really you want to know how many circumferences. So I need to find circumference of this circle. So circumference is equal to 2 pi r or pi d, which in this case it gives me the diameter. So let's use that one. So I'm going to have 14 pi. But that's in inches. So what I would do is I would take your feet here, the 70 feet, and multiply it by 12 so that that's in inches too. So if I take 70 times 12, this becomes 840 inches. Well, now if I want to know how many of these it takes to get to this, I just divide. So I do 840 divided by 14 pi. Okay, so in my calculator, there's two ways to do this. I guess what I would do is I would do 840 divided by 14, get an answer, and then divide by pi, get an answer. And I get 19.1, right? So about how many revolutions does this make? Well, it makes about 19.1 revolutions, right? It's not going to be perfect. We got to round a little bit, but that's fairly accurate. All right. Okay, let's look at the last problem. Last one here. Okay, so you do get a diagram on your test here. It says a park walkway surrounds a fountain as shown. Okay, so this little circle here, right here, this is my fountain. Okay, everything else is shaded, not the fountain. It says find the area of the walkway. Round your answer to the nearest foot. So the nearest whole number. So that's kind of nice. And yes, you have a decimal on your test tomorrow, so that's why I included a decimal here. So what I would do is I would split this up into the three shapes, right? So if I cut down this middle line, or this line here, I have a rectangle on this side. So that's easy. So the area of the rectangle would just be equal to 20 times 36.5, right? Length times width. So 20 times 36.5. So the area of the rectangle is 730. Then I gotta find the area of my semicircle. Well, it is a semicircle, it's half a circle. So it's half pi r squared. So r squared, so the r in this case, right, it tells me this is 12. So 12 squared. Right, so this would be 1/2 of 144 pi, which would be 72 pi. And I'm going to leave the pi again until the end because we have more work to do. The other part I need to know is area of my fountain, which is really a circle, right? So that would be pi r, which in this case it gives me d is 10. So r would have to be 5 squared. So that's 25 pi. Right, now what do I do with all these three different numbers here? Well, this plus this is going to give me the total area, right? The total area of this whole shape would be the rectangle plus the semicircle. So I'm going to do 730 plus 72 pi. But then you're like, hold up though. That fountain isn't part of the walkway, right? This number. So now I gotta subtract that. Okay, so, right, and this is gonna give me area of my walkway. So what I would do is I would do these two first, right? I would do 730 plus, those two both have pi, so combine like terms. So 72 minus 25 is 47 pi. So now I would do 47 times pi. and then add 730, all in my calculator, and I'm going to get about 878 because it says to round to the nearest foot. So my walkway would be 878 feet. All right, that does conclude the test breakdown. So as I've said multiple times throughout the videos, if you have questions or concerns, please either text me, email me, or ask Mrs. Schmidt today and Monday. I will be back on Tuesday to answer any questions that you can't figure out. But just make sure you need to be ready for your test, which will be on Wednesday. If you get your whole review packet done, I'm going to try and have your final review ready to hand out to you on Monday. Otherwise, make sure your study guide is ready to go for your test. And I will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.